So, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your band?
My name is Mar Jamir. I'm the lead singer of Polar Lights, and our band we started back in I think 2013. So it's been about 12 years now, and yeah, that's basically what we are about.
Yeah, how did you come together?
Initially, in 2013, our former drummer, so he's a producer now, he's Vitz, so he approached me with the concept of starting a band together and doing just playing original music, because at that time we did not have so many bands doing original music. So, and I've been writing songs since I was quite young. So, and Vitz, our drummer, our ex-drummer, knew about me and the songs that I wrote. So he approached me with the concept of starting a band, and yeah, it started out like that only now.
And your song, Murdermachine,
Yeah.
has stood out from among all your other songs.
Okay.
So it has so many views, and popularity. Can you tell us a little bit about the song?
So Murdermachine, I wrote that song I think before we started Polar Lights. So I was in the middle of writing Murdermachine when Vitz approached me with starting a band together. So the song, yeah, I wrote that song back in 2013, and just like you mentioned, yeah, it's one of the most recognized Polar Lights song. I mean, from our discography, Murdermachine, I think, is one of the most recognized song. And people know us for that song, as in a lot of the people that are fans of our music, I think they came to know of Polar Lights through a Murdermachine. So yeah, it's been a blessing, and yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit about
on
the
the
song?
song?
Yeah.
So a Murdermachine is basically about, the song starts with summer nights we thought it would last forever, and we thought we had the world on our shoulders. So by summer nights, I basically, what I mean is, good times, prosperity, and friendships, relationships. When we are young, we tend to believe that those things are going to last, but I think I realized quite young that those things don't really matter at the end. The only thing that's constant in our life is time. And we feel like we're invincible when we are very young. When we're young, I mean. And as we grow older now, because I wrote the song when I was 19, now I'm 32, and I've started to realize, these things don't last. The only thing that's going to be constant is time, and we grow old. So yeah, the song is basically about those things. At the time when writing A Murdermachine, I did not really realize that I was writing about, I was just writing about what I was feeling at the time. But now that I've grown, now that I'm married, I have a daughter, I think I've realized that the only thing that's actually constant in our life is time. And time can be very unforgiving, brutal, and sometimes it'll bring you good times as well. But yeah, so the basic idea behind A Murdermachine is just me, trying to trying to let our music listeners know that nothing actually lasts forever. So we just have to make the best use of the time that we have here. And yeah, that's basically a very brief. Yeah, for time is a Murdermachine, it kills you when you sleep. Is like I mentioned earlier, time is very brutal, and it's very unforgiving. So yeah, it's basically me just saying that for time is a Murdermachine, it kills you when you're asleep. And I won't deny, I'm like a thief on the run, I even sleep with a gun. This is me, I'm like a thief on a run, I even sleep with a gun. Is at the time of writing these lines, I felt like I was cheating my way through life, because I was not actually doing what I was supposed to do at that time. It's just me basically just writing down what I was feeling, like I was cheating my way through the circumstances that I was in. So it's basically just that. I'm like a thief on the run. I even sleep with a gun. And I see the light, but it's also far away. We've been running in circles every day. I know that I'm supposed to do something else, but I'm not doing it. I see the light, but it's so far away, and I see the light, but it's so far away. We've been running in circles every day. So I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do with my life, but at the time I was not doing it. So it felt like I was just running around in circles. So it's just basically basically just me playing around with words, playing with rhymes, and at the same time just writing down what I was feeling. And okay, with Murdermachine, I want to explain. So with this second verse, so it goes. They said, "Come along, we've got a long way to go. Just write your names in blood and watch your stories unfold." So I get a lot of questions because at that time I was getting a lot of questions from people asking, did I really sell my soul did I really sell my soul for success and stuff like that? So I'll just let you guys on in a secret. Those lines were actually, inspired by the movie Ghost Rider. I don't know if you've seen the movie Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage. So in the movie, he signs his soul. He sells his soul to the devil to achieve, that jump. And then in doing so, he becomes a slave. So he becomes a slave to, what the devil wanted him to do. So, that's the secret behind those lines. It's me just drawing inspiration from the movie and incorporating that into, into the lyrics. So it's nothing where, I sold my soul to the devil and.
Yeah, when you talk about the song, you make it sound like it's personal. So it's like the song, as it progresses, gets into deeper understanding of life. That life is not all as easy as it comes. So, were you going through a phase of realization when you wrote the song?
Yeah. It's been so long it's been quite some time now since I wrote the song, but because I just started college at that time. So yeah, I was 19, I just started college, and to be completely honest, I was not really into, that college lifestyle or that, I never really wanted to go into college. I wanted to do something with, just with my music. So yeah, you could say that I was going through a phase at that time, but so yeah, college. So I think most of our music listeners will know that I dropped out of college. So yeah, you could say that I was going through a phase. So I was just writing what I was feeling at that time. Yeah.
Can you also tell us the process of writing the song?
The process. With the song is basically just me with the piano on the keyboards, just trying to write down whatever that comes to mind. So it's not really me in a very dark room and having to go very deep into my feelings, but songwriting in a way has to be a little bit exaggerated. I feel that's when some of the best songs. That's when I've written some of my best songs, when I exaggerate my feelings to a certain extent. So yeah, that's basically how songwriting works for me. Not just with Murdermachine, but with the other songs as well.
Okay. How different are the reactions to a Murdermachine like back when it was released as compared to today?
Because at that time, I feel like we did not have Spotify. We only just had YouTube and Reverb Nation. So these days, releasing a song can be a little bit, because there's so much music right now. Just here in Nagaland itself, we have so much music that's coming out. So, but at that time, we had very few bands that would write original music. So I feel like the song did quite well at that time because it had a lot to do with timing. Because just like I mentioned, we did not have so many bands that put out original music, and I feel it was something different from what the musicians here were putting out. So the response that we got was overwhelmingly good, and I mean it's done quite well for us over these past 13 years or so. Everywhere we go, especially in Kohima and to other cities as well, they recognize. They don't actually know the name of the band, but they know our song. So yeah.
What would you say was the catalyst that pushed you to set the tone of a Murdermachine, both sonically and lyrically?
Sonically, it had a lot to do with, just trying to put something out that's very different from what the people here in Nagaland was used to. And lyrically, I think I've always tried to write songs that were personal and just, I know it's very cliche to say this, but it's true to your feelings. And I've always tried to follow that with my songwriting, that I want to write something that actually has something to do with me. And so yeah, I think the catalyst for that, sonically would be trying to put out something different, and lyrically, just trying to be true to, what I was feeling at that time.
Yeah, how do you feel when you sing the song?
So when Murdermachine came out, it was, a lot of people knew Polar Lights because of our Murdermachine, and in a way, I was a little bitter because I wanted people to know Polar Lights, not just because of Murdermachine, but other songs as well. But as time has progressed, I feel like it's been one of the greatest gifts that I've been. It's been a blessing to sing Murdermachine and to have people sing that lyrics line, word for word back to you. It's, as a musician, that's one of the greatest achievements that you can have. So yeah, it's the best feeling.
Why do you think the song Murdermachine did so well?
I feel like the Murdermachine did well because it had a lot to do with, just the timing of when the song came out, and it's not the best song that a Naga artist has ever produced, but at that time we did not have so many bands that would, put out music in that sort of genre. Because people at that time identified Polar Lights. People still do. They identified our genre as, indie music. And at that time, we did not have so many indie artists that would put out original music. So it had a lot to do with timing, and I feel like people here in Nagaland wanted something new. So yeah, I think that's the main reason why the song did quite well.
Also, adding to that, how special is the song Murdermachine to you, specially, and personally, and what inspired you to write the song?
So it's personal because all of my songs are personal. But if I were to pick a song that was, my favorite, I wouldn't say a Murdermachine would be it. But commercially, I think, just not commercially, but because we can't say commercially because we've hardly been able to make any money out of Murdermachine. But just mainstream-wise and with views and numbers, I think Murdermachine has been the most successful. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but yeah, it's personal because most of our songs are personal. So yeah, it's special, but I wouldn't say that's my favorite.
And your inspiration too.
And my inspiration, Murdermachine, just like I was mentioning earlier, it had a lot to do with, just what I was going through at that moment when I was writing that song, and I wanted to do something that was, just what I felt like I was meant to do in life, and at that time it was music. And I was not able to do it at that time because I'd started college and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to write something, just write my feelings on what I was feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, the song addresses the theme of time, like you've said, youth and essential struggles. What message do you hope the listener will take?
With a Murdermachine, I just want our listeners to know that, nothing good or bad lasts us forever. So I just want our listeners to know that even the good times, especially with the bad times, we're able to make it through we just have to be resilient, and we just have to push forward. So with that song, I want to put out that message, just to be strong, resilient, and just carry through.
And also, we also wanted to know your take. What is your take on the music industry of Nagaland?
So for an industry, I wouldn't necessarily call our music, the scene that we have here in Nagaland, an industry, because for an industry, for something to be called an industry, it needs to able to be, there needs to be transactions involved, especially with generating revenue, and we're not able to do that at the moment. Just in Nagaland wise, if you go to other states, you get paid to play you get paid to play venues in other states, but in Nagaland we're not able to do that. Besides, festivals like Hornbill and just tiny festivals here in Nagaland, small scale, not tiny but small scale festivals besides Hornbill. So I wouldn't necessarily call it an industry, but if you're looking at it from a talent point of view, we have some of the best talents here in India, and to mention some artists would be like Trans Effect, Abdon, Tumsu Clover, Imliakam, the Electric Cool Kid, and there's so many talents that Nagaland has produced in recent times. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it an industry. And if I were, if people ask me how can we take the next step, they asked me to talk about TAFMA, and because there's an actual department that's related to music and just arts in general. So, and a lot of times people complain that TAFMA is not doing enough for musicians here in Nagaland, which I feel like it's very, and I feel like that's coming from a very, I feel like they're very bitter if they're talking about TAFMA not doing enough for them, because it's not the job of TAFMA to, not carry you, but handhold you and take you to concerts and stuff. No, because you have to be the one that has to go out and network. TAFMA can in a way facilitate, just shows and just tours, maybe finance you in a little way, but it's not the job of TAFMA to, facilitate your career. It's your job to go around, write to promoters, write to festivals, send them your resume, send them your music. And because I was that person at one point of time, because I was complaining that, because at the time it wasn't TAFMA, it used to be MTF, Music Task Force. So, I would complain that, hey, these guys aren't doing enough for musicians here. But I've come to realize that that's not the case, because that's the government. It's, that's the government. To be completely frank, you don't want the government involved in your music, in something that's very pure and that's something that's yours. Because when politics gets involved, it gets corrupted to a certain. It gets corrupted to a certain extent. So, it's not the job of TAFMA to, take you around. It's your job to go around, right, and find opportunities for yourself. And maybe along the way, TAFMA can, facilitate how, just finance you a bit, but don't expect TAFMA to, carry you all the way.
Now that you have mentioned about TAFMA,
yeah.
Let me add something. Also, you have mentioned how upcoming artists can write to
Yeah.
for their own promotions and shows. I don't think many of the artists and upcoming singers are
Aware of that.
Yeah, aware of that and how to go about. Do you think maybe what do you think can be done to help them, or how can they,
these days we have the Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have emails. So you only just have to find the promoter's email, find the promoter's Instagram handle, or find a venue, because there's so many. There's venues in India, in Bangalore, Bombay. So you can write to those venues, and if your music is good enough, they'll eventually write back, and you can, play shows there. So it's not as hard as people would imagine, because that's what we've been doing when we go out on tour. We don't wait for the promoter to call us and ask us to play their venue. We write to them, we send them a music and say we want to come and play your venue. And I mean, if your music is good, they'll agree. We just have to find the right date and stuff. So it's not as hard as people would imagine. So any upcoming artists, my advice would be just find a venue that would, play your kind of music, and you write to them. It's just write an email. It's as easy as just writing an email.
On your personal view, you have talked about the challenges and about having a proper venue here, having concerts. And do you think what can be done, and also do you think there is a music career, full music, 100% music career as for a musician?
Here in Nagaland?
Yeah, here in Nagaland.
The advice that I give to most of my musician friends is always have a backup plan. But because that's not just here in Nagaland, you can go to any part of the world and ask them if music will be able to sustain your lifestyle. And I can guarantee you 90% of them will say no, because it's the 1% that makes the money, and the rest is, just like all of us here in Nagaland. So it's not just here in Nagaland that, musicians are struggling. Anywhere you go in India, anywhere you go around the world, it's the same. So we just have to strive to be that 1%. And that comes with, luck. Luck has a lot to play with that. And, just being there at the right time. And because as a band, I can honestly say that even with Polar Lights, we're not generating as much revenue as people would think. So we're all still struggling. So yeah, and with venues, I think if TAFMA can come up with a venue, that would be great. Or if a private, entity, if a private enterprise can come up with a venue, that'd also be great. But yeah, I think the need of the hour here in Nagaland at the moment is a venue. And I think TAFMA will be able to facilitate that. So if TAFMA is watching, please. So if you're actually talking about very personal songs, with the other songs that I've written, like Murdermachine, Beautiful Escape, and most of our songs, I tend to write it from a third-person point of view. But with Castles, it's I wrote it back during pandemic, and I wrote it before pandemic, but I carried it through the pandemic years, and it took me about 3 years to write. And if you've listened to the lyrics, if you've listened to the song, it's in the song I talk about dropping out of college, being suicidal, being not, it was sort of like a suicide note that I was leaving behind. And yeah, I think that Castles is one of the most personal songs that I've written.
So, is there any, are you guys coming up with any songs?
If you've been to, the people that are watching, if they've been to our recent concerts, we've started playing new songs also. So we have new songs on the way. We're, I think, about 4 or 5 songs into our new album. So yes, we have plans to put up new music, and this is an exclusive. I think we're going to be putting out a new music video in probably, it's July now, probably August. So we'll have new music by August.
Also, I wanted to know how your opinion on how people can support music artists, music in Nagaland. Yeah.
People can, I think, the best thing that music fans can do is go to their concerts, buy their merch, share their music, and I think that's it. I think that's 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 the only thing that's required for our music listeners to do, is just share our music, come to our concerts, and buy our merch. Because I'll tell you, by streaming, even if you get 1 million views, million streams on your Spotify, I can guarantee you that musicians are only making about 6,000 to 7,000 per song with 1 million views. So that's because even with our gears and stuff, it's very expensive. So you can support a musician by going to his concert, and especially buying their merch, because most musicians here in Nagaland make their own merch, and they keep 100% of the revenue if they're selling it on their Instagram, on their social handles. So I would urge music fans and listeners to buy their favorite musicians, artists, merch. Just go to their concert and share the music. I think that's the most they can do.
Yeah, okay. So one last question from my side. What are some of the challenges that you face when you organize?
So when we started, the challenges, I think, first, initially our challenge was finance, and I think that's with everyone. Finance, then not being able to find shows, play shows, and that was because I think we had no one to tell us to how important networking is at that time. I mean, it still is. So the challenges were finding shows, finance, and recording in a way was quite easy for us. I mean, finding a studio to record our songs, because we do it on our own. So recording, and I'm pretty sure most musicians here in Nagaland will find it hard to come up with money to go and record their songs. So that would also be a challenge. So yeah, but for us was finding shows and finances, and people, society not actually recognizing music as a profession. So yeah, those are the challenges. So this is like an advice to upcoming musicians here in Nagaland is, there's 3 things that I tell, young artists when they ask me for advice on music. I tell them to, network. Network is very important, and continue to write songs and try and network, continue to write songs, and try and be as original as you can. And lastly, I tell them to always have a backup plan, because that's very important, I feel, to not just, if you're going in 100% into music, I can tell you that it's going to be very tough. And that's not just here in Nagaland, but it's all over the world. So I always tell them to, network, write original music, and always have a backup plan. Especially, my dream is, with Polar Lights, I think what I would say is we want to be the biggest band in the world. And that is not me, coming from arrogance or, that is not me being arrogant, but by me saying that we want to be the biggest band in the world is, I feel like that will always leave us with something to, chase or go after, because we know that we're never going to be the biggest band in the world, but there will always be the target. So it's, we're never going to be perfect, but we can try. So that is basically my dream with Polar Lights, is to be the biggest band in the world, even though I know that we're never going to get to that point, but that will always leave us with something to chase. So yeah, that's my dream with Polar Lights.